Yo, episode. Caesar doesn't know what episode it is. Give it a try.
248.
Okay, Oito. Okay, yeah, he got the 248.
Oito.
Episode 248. We're two away from becoming a soccer slash breaking down the Will Smith slap podcast. We do it every week.
You guys think we're playing? We will absolutely do that and see if anybody notices.
Yeah.
Just start doing it, and if someone says, "How'd you guys did soccer?" I'm like, that was 50 episodes ago. But yeah, glad we found out when you listen.
Although we got like a bunch of downloads in France recently, I have no idea why, but
because we're big Guendouzi lovers here.
And also that clip about Hector Bellerin in Ukraine got the most views we've got in a while on YouTube.
Since I edited the videos.
Relax.
Those was booming back down.
Definitely single digits.
I don't know, but the likeness was there. They stayed longer. I checked the Google statistics. They stayed longer.
Okay.
They want to see more postcards pop up.
Okay, all right. Anyway, episode 248, we did a podcast. Oh, we got to talk about Champions League. We got to talk about Europa League. And we got to talk about one match from Europa Conference League. We're going to talk a little bit about Sergio Aguero. And I have an issue. You know, me and Caesar, oftentimes we get annoyed by soccer players. So there's an issue that I want to bring up with them that's annoying what soccer players do. But Caesar, this week we had the quarterfinal start for Champions League. I did not watch Benfica versus Liverpool because Liverpool never loses to lower competition.
They literally know. They literally don't.
They're like the only good team that never does that.
Yeah, they actually enjoy it. They're like, cool, now we get to really run for real.
Yeah, they're like, oh, we can chill out because we're playing Benfica. Meanwhile, Barcelona got destroyed by Benfica. But I did watch Manchester City versus Atletico Madrid. It was rough for the most part. I watched ESPN FC people like complain about how bad Atleti was. Atleti was just literally just playing the lowest block ever. And like, I don't even want to say they were trying to counterattack. They were just trying to like dribble up a little bit. It looked like an AFCON game. They're just trying to dribble up a little bit and just lose the ball. And then the City just,
they were like, you know what? You get the ball, give it to João Felix over there on the left side. He's going to want to dribble past two people, but we know he's going to lose it. And then it's just going to come back and start over again. Ever over and over. And I was like, when they put Griezmann up top, I'm like, oh yeah, we're definitely not trying to score for real today. Griezmann's up there, we're not trying to score for real.
I seen Griezmann get hawked down by Gundogan. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, man, speed is 54.
I was like, this dude got walked down by Gundogan right now. But Manchester City only scored one goal. It's 1-0 going back to Madrid. And I was like, honestly, like, you never know. Because remember COVID year when Atleti beat Liverpool? Like, that was kind of random. Like, they got them goals from Llorente. Honestly, I feel like Manchester City, they didn't, like, obviously it's hard to score against Atleti, like, when they're playing like that. But I'm like, dog, you know, if they end up not going through, once again, Pep is to blame because it's like, dog, it'll be literally because they don't have a center forward. They're so annoying, like passing around the 3-point line forever, like a college basketball team. I'm like, you need to put in a cross sometimes.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, and you know, the match is next week, and I'm like, you know, 1-0 going into Madrid is not that comfortable. You know what I mean? Like, we've seen Manchester City get nervous before. They got nervous versus Tottenham in the Champions League before. I feel like they got nervous versus Chelsea in the final last year. So you never know. But that was the Tuesday matches. On Wednesday, we had Villarreal versus Bayern. Neither of us watched that, but Villarreal did end up winning 1-0. And I watched the highlights. They could have won like 4-0. Like, they could have easily won like 4-1. They were I was like, they're wide open in Bayern right now. I'm like, damn, they're like really getting great attempts off.
I feel like it investigates Sule.
Something. I can't really remember.
He already signed to go at the end of the year to go play for BVB.
There's another yellow team.
He was like, Yellow Submarine, I'm down for. Rival team support and leaving town down. Although they get bonuses for doing good, and like, so I think he'd want a ball a little bit.
Yeah. But yeah, Bayern won 1-0. I mean, I'm sorry, Bayern lost 1-0. I feel like they're gonna go home and win like 18-1. But the match that we both watched and we were most concerned with this quarterfinals was Chelsea versus Real Madrid.
Rematch.
Caesar, these people on the internet, all these pundits were not giving Real Madrid a chance.
Absolutely not. What's his name? The big mouth guy was going crazy about Chelsea's gonna stomp them or whatever. And I'm like, damn, didn't you play for Man City? That's real crazy how you just flip flop on your own clubs. But all right.
People hate Real Madrid so much. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
It blows my mind.
Premier League people used to hate Chelsea a lot. Like Chelsea was the most hated club. But now they're suddenly beloved for some reason.
Well, I think they just love England and they hate Real Madrid.
But yeah, they're like, oh, but Real Madrid, we just hate in general. Like we throw it down.
Really crazy.
Yeah, they were giving Real Madrid no chances. I wasn't like, I know I was wrong last year, but when I just look at Chelsea's like offensive statistics, it just doesn't make sense to me. Like this is Lukaku has played 4 games in like a month, but he's in like 2 months, but he's still the leading scorer in a team. Like he hasn't even scored that many. Like Reece James is the second highest scorer in the team. It's just very strange. Like, and every time I watch them, I see Havertz score. Then I watch game, and then apparently I look at stats. He's like only scored the times I've watched. It doesn't make sense. Like,
it really
does Pulisic only score when I watch? Because I guess all the other games in the middle of the week, like he plays all these other teams, 50 games, he doesn't score at all. But the one game I watch in a playoff quarterfinal, he's like, oh, I'm a ball now. Although when he did the ugly as left footed shot, I did howl laughter.
Oh yeah, that was funny.
I was like, that's great. You suck.
I mean,
so no one was giving Real Madrid a chance. And I thought that was very interesting considering they did beat basically the favorites. Whatever about French league, PSG is the favorites. They're supposed to be the team this year. They spent the most, they got the most, they did a whole damn firework explosion ceremony. There was like remember that whole, they packed out the whole goddamn stadium to announce 4 dudes, and they're at home now.
Yes.
Watching from the crib like us.
Yeah. I mean,
Pochettino's just a championship coach.
Scoring 5 goals against Lorient. Yeah, it was weird to see like they were just like, oh, well, it's just there's this narrative around Real Madrid, like, oh, they don't play that well. Like you hear that on ESPN FC a lot, like, oh, they're not convincing. I'm like, dude, they're top of the league. They've only lost 3 matches this season. Like, what are you talking about? Like,
why does Barcelona's success, and as of recently, climbing to the tied for second in the table, warrant Real Madrid not being good anymore? Because they were talking like they're acting like it's a close race. Yeah. And then I'm like, dog, Real Madrid's like about like 11 points right now. It would take a pretty bad drought for Real Madrid to fall off that. And Barcelona cannot lose in the progress because Atletico's not losing either, just tying everybody and they're winning by 1. So it's like, you can't lose there either. Like, it's just weird to me that like, oh, they're so excited to talk about Barcelona that like they're like, oh yeah, like as if Real Madrid's been do bad. They just beat convincingly like the favorites. Like they didn't just like, oh man, we got a PK to get it. Like, we went through, like absolutely went through PSG, and now into this week. All the comments from players were sounding resoundingly confident. Players are usually very boring. They're like, oh, this. Kareem was just like, look, man, we had PSG marked on our whiteboard or whatever. Like that was a team where we're looking to beat. We beat them. We feel like we already like we've proven ourselves. Like we're here to do it. And that's a man who played like him to prove himself.
Yeah, I mean, it's just weird. Like they act like it just kind of shows that they don't watch the actual football. Like you can have a team that's playing well, but like they're not scoring 4 goals a match. Like it's not like Man City scores 4 goals a match, even when they play well. Sometimes you're going to have a game where like you're playing well and
It just don't go in.
like the balls, the goals don't go in sometimes. But you and I know that Real Madrid has been playing
Yeah.
very well. Even if they lose, they
Even
lost
if they
to
lose, they never look horrid. Like even some of these teams I watch, I'm like, this is the ugliest soccer ever. I cannot watch this. Like sometimes Real Madrid just gets beat based upon Spanish teams have a lot of similar styles. Like the only team I'd say that's a crazy different style is Atletico, but everybody else pretty much kind of plays very similar. A lot of fundamental passing, and sometimes it just works for you.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can't block everything, so it goes in, and sometimes Real Madrid doesn't score, but they never look horrible. And even the only times they've looked vulnerable is when Benzema's been out.
Yeah.
That's the only times where I'm like, and that's when they had their little weird weeks where they had like Rodrigo at the 9. Like it's just been weird.
Well, that's when they lost to Barcelona. Benzema wasn't there, and they're trying to act like Barcelona got good because Xavi got there. They got good when Aubameyang got there.
On everything I love, none of this would be going on because they were not playing to pay. They benched Bam's favorite player of all time, Braithwaite. So like now, but when they got a Boomerang,
yeah, they're turned
they
up.
could have got none of those other dudes. But if they got a Boomerang, that would have been a difference maker. Like he's that pivotal. Like even watching him play today, his game makes everyone better around him. Like having that kind of like real great hold up play 9 who has some speed too is a very big change to your whole dynamic offensively.
Yeah, but let's get into the match a little bit. Obviously, we already know that Real Madrid won 3-1. We know that Benzema scored in a great hat trick, 2 great headers. I gotta give so much love to Vinicius Jr. on that first assist. A beautiful left-footed cross in the air. Literally, the ball went to his forehead.
The ball spun towards like his. It was like coming in. Like that's like absolutely a dream header to get. Although it was a crazy angle, and I don't know how I got the power on it. But place, the ball like kind of came in just like it was like the perfect connection. Spot.
The power is coming from the pass.
Yeah,
like the second one was the one where he went far post.
Yeah, you're right.
The first one, it's literally all the weight of the shot is from the pass. So he just had to just
ricochet it.
He just had to point his forehead straight
at the goal.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, headers can be hard because you're always trying to angle your head to do it. But when you're able just to go like this,
just go.
Boom, that's just absolutely perfect. That's a perfect cross. Like left-footed too, incredible.
Yeah, that's definitely the cross more than the header.
Mm-hmm.
The second, then he scored again the second header, which now it was a beautiful goal to watch, but I didn't think it was like that crazy because like he didn't get so much power as much as he got like the right angle, which is obviously like that's really dope because you can easily get that ball off the frame. But I feel like it was more impressive to just see like Mendy just falling over, like trying to get it. I'm just like, oh,
you're so weird.
I like fast headers.
Incredible. That header to me is incredible because usually when you're running backwards, that ball will bounce before it even goes to the goal. Like there's just no power you can really get, or like when you're running backwards, sometimes you tend to lift your head up. So like the ball will soar away angle. Yeah. It's really hard to go backwards and like also keep your neck down and like get it in there just enough. And like, to be honest, a goalie should kind of like be able to read that. Like, and the way the reason why he couldn't get it is it had that weird ass spin on it that it spun. So it did like one of these bounces, like it did one of those outward angles. It's just like, unless you're like a 7'1", like you're not going to get that. Cause if you watch the replay again, the way he got it, it like didn't have a lot of power, but it came off his head on an angle and it spun super hard the other way. So like it made it even harder to catch.
Well, it's funny because
it's like a training goal. Like they'd be scoring in training. Like how the hell?
Well, it's funny because I feel like you said, there's only one place for that header to go with any kind of like juice. It has to go far post. If he tries to go near post, you can't get no power. because
No.
you got to like use your neck.
And it would never be an power for you to like pass a goalie on that.
Exactly, because you got to like use your neck and you're going backwards. But like that direction, like you're just
That's a finesse header shot.
It's just like off your forehead, trying to like get there. But yeah, either way, it was a beautiful goal.
Header goals are wild. That shit isn't crazy.
I love headers.
Yeah. Whoa.
I'm still mad that Cavani didn't win the goal of the tournament in 2018 at the World Cup for that header he scored. But they just want to see
the best one was the 2014 Van Persie swan dive.
Oh, that was great too. But they just love half volleys and volleys so much. I'm like, oh my god. But then Chelsea did come back and score. Kai Havertz scored his header. Okay. See, you know what's funny? I don't know if you remember this. Like I don't know if you caught it in the match or like if you watched the highlights. Now I watched the Paramount the CBS recap of the match. I watched ESPN FC recapping the match. They all had shit to say about Benzema not scoring that other goal off his left foot. They're like, oh, you don't expect a player of his caliber to miss that. Like, I don't know how he missed that. I'm like, you guys didn't see Aaron Christensen, what's his name? You didn't see Christensen's foot hit his foot when he went to shoot it. I'm like, oh my God.
The commentator was obsessed with that too. It was so weird. I'm like, just because it looked easy, but I'm like, first of all, like, the difference, the other two goals were like created off an offensive set. That one was chaotic off of like straight hustle deep, like straight hustling. Like Benzema loves to do that. He loves to hustle on defender and catch him sleeping. And he was hustling on that one. Caught him sleeping on big Mendy sleeping on trying to be slick, giving the ball right back to Rudiger. And it was wild, but that dive is what caused like the craziness. Like it deflected off his foot, like his foot connected with his other foot, and it caused him to miss. Like that's not super easy. Like that can affect the shot no matter what.
That shot that he missed the shot, but when he went to connect with the shot, his foot hit Christensen's foot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it got deflected like off of the connection.
Yeah, like his foot.
The foot hit. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, how did y'all not see that? Like, it's
really crazy sitting there in the booth when nobody in that booth ever scored 38 goals in a season to really be out here talking about, oh man, like it's just like you gotta hit. One of my least favorite things ever is to abuse. You gotta make that like, I don't expect that. Because like Bobo said, like I've felt out there in playing very low league garbage soccer. Sometimes it just doesn't go. It just doesn't work. It doesn't happen. Sometimes your foot goes a weird way. It just doesn't go in. And am I going to clown on people when it does and to go in? Yeah, Raheem Sterling, absolutely. I'm going to get on you. Fernando Torres, yes, I'm going to get on you. But like the man already scored a brace. He has a brace. Like, dude, just relax.
And also, I'm like, do y'all not see the replay? His foot hit Christensen's foot. How do y'all not see that?
It's like they get obsessed, like the obsession with saying like the player missed the shot rather than goalie saved it. That like culture of like, it's British misinformation. It's like misinformation.
It's all British. Like literally, they're the worst. I cannot stand any British person commentating. They always want to say somebody should have hit the target, somebody should have made it, and that wasn't a foul. That's all they want to do.
They love to be extra critical,
like extremely. But then after that, I don't know if that was after or before his hat trick. But the hat trick
the miss was before the hat trick.
Okay. The hat trick goal was funny. I don't even know what. Honestly, to me, it was Mendy's fault. Not
no. I'm not gonna blame. They were trying to kind of blame Rudiger. I'm like, that's not Rudiger's fault. They're like, oh, the commentator says some stupid, goofy thing. Like, I know you haven't been on a field in 45, 60 years. He was like, oh, Rudiger tried to like poke it when he should have put his foot out. I'm like, hey, buddy. Let me tell you something right now. If Rudiger goes face, like you're coming at me and I give the ball up, and if I put my leg out, what happens? You fall, I get a red card, I'm out of the game, and we're down a person.
Mm-hmm.
But if he does his back poke, it's less risk. It minimizes contact. If he puts his leg out, he's gonna miss and he's gonna get a red card. It's a clear path PK red card. That'd be a beyond stupid idea. The poke is just your best luck because Mendy already played you.
Yeah,
Mendy already played you out, dog. Mendy was like, "You're German, I'm French. We both sold out. It is what it is." No, I know he plays for Senegal, but anyways, like, yeah, whatever. Like, like he wanted to set Rudiger up because he plays for a colonizer. I get it, dog. It's okay. No,
I have an Afrobeat song.
It's absolutely Mendy's fault. That was just Mendy's fault. Like he just, he panicked like a lot of goalies do on their feet. Then it was a bad. If I'm Mendy and that happens, you gotta just do the Thiago Silva launch it. You gotta just launch it or toe bunt it far away, or don't worry about a nice pass. Just clear it, dog. Clear that joint, like
insane.
Yeah, I think he misread it, but I was like, in my head, honestly, I was like being a little critical because I'm like, my observation the whole game was that Benzema was pressing the back line. So it's like, I'm not really trying to play around on that. Like, if he's pressing the back line, let's just clear and reset. Like, clear and reset right now.
The ball bounced up on his chest, and he could have instead of letting it get to his chest, he could have just booted it.
Yeah, he could have just launched it.
Yeah, which would have been better. But even if you're gonna let it get off your chest and settle, boot it after that.
Yeah,
don't be trying
to
play it back to Rudiger.
He's setting Rudiger up because that contract finna go out. He's like, "Oh, dog, look what you about to leave us."
Yeah, exactly.
This is all these games are investigate. These are all investigate.
Seriously, I was like, "Yo, come on now." I
mean, but honestly, it's like I'm sitting here in hindsight, but like it just kind of happened. It is what it is. But it's not. I don't even put that on Rudiger. Like if we're talking about it, if I'm a coach, I'm telling Mendy like, hey, this is what we got to do next time moving forward. I'm not saying, hey, Rudiger, next time you get this weird ass ball, no, that's terrible. Like Rudiger, if anything, is adapting off the mistake off his own teammate. Like I'd rather tackle the teammate who made the mistake originally, not like the person who made the mistake after the mistake.
Exactly. And I think it just goes to show that no matter how good a goalie is, like they're all basically the same.
Yeah, unless you're that one Man City guy, the neck tattoo.
Ederson.
Ederson would have just made them, but it's okay.
but we've seen every single goalie who's good make crazy mistakes. Like
absolutely.
Like they're all
Manuel Neuer has a highlight reel. Yeah. This man running up the field thinking he's somebody special getting destroyed.
Like every single goalie has had a quote unquote howler. Like they really got to stop trying to act like there's like one is so much better than the other. They're basically the same, and they're all going to make a mistake at some point that looks crazy. They're all bound to do it. Like
I agree.
And obviously Mendy's a really good player and a good goalie, but like they like
no shade for real.
Yeah, it's just a mental error, and they all do it. But yeah, they're going to go back next week. Real Madrid 2 goes up on Chelsea. And, the tie's not over. We'll see. I feel like the only one that's like confidently over is Liverpool Benfica. But you never know. Chelsea could come in on something good. You saw Lukaku miss a pretty, I don't feel like he had to make that header, but it was close. They were saying that he had to make it. I was like, I don't think so. Headers are hard, like especially if you're jumping straight up in the air. That's hard. But
yeah,
he could have made it. But like, I don't think you have to make it.
It wasn't like a sitter.
No, it wasn't a sitter.
Like, it wasn't a sitter at all. But for sure, like, I guess you would expect it to go in. If that's the thing. Like,
for sure.
If I'm there, if you're there, I would expect him to make that. Now, I'm not saying you have to, and like I'm gonna do this whole thing, but I'm gonna assume you're gonna make that. And 9 out of 10 times, I feel like you'd make that
for sure. Like I think it's kind of one of those things where like in American football, like a wide receiver, and even I was like this too. Like if I got one hand on the ball, I feel like I should have caught it.
Yeah, but or like when you see this play happen, or the wide receiver makes enough space, and it's like he knows he's gonna catch this, and he's already gone, but he drops it. Like it's one of those things where. What is it like the Jamie say? Like he's already running, but he's like already thinking about running before he catches the ball. Yeah. And that's a classic thing humans do. Yeah, right. Like so.
Like sometimes like the like I'm sure Lukaku himself felt like he
was like, oh, I got this.
Yeah, but to to be like critical of him not making it, I wouldn't really do that. But like you said, I would think that he would make it.
I honestly feel like that's more of a testament to inconsistent play time. Like he has inconsistent play time right now. And like Italy, he had like 50 games somebody that he's playing. He played last time at the World Club Cup or whatever that was. So it's like it's just awkward. And it's like these things happen to you in the game when you're not playing like week in, week out. You know what I mean?
He's not playing consistently, and somehow he's still the top scorer. But yeah, that's Champions League. We had some Europa League. Well, I think the only one that we as a collective watch was Eintracht Frankfurt versus Barcelona. But I want to talk to you about this thing before we get into that match, because I think like in your reading of the match, this came up or something along these lines. Caesar, I get so annoyed. I feel like nobody told these guys about hand checking as opposed to grab checking.
Ooh.
Like you don't have to, like when you're behind, like when the players, like when the player's back is on you, you don't have to grab. You can hand check. Like you can have your hand open and keep them like off. You don't have to do all that.
Honestly, I'm not even gonna lie to you. A hand check is a lot more frustrating. It's a lot more frustrating to deal with too. And it's like you're not gonna get in trouble for it either.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Like I'm sure like for the person with the ball, like somebody grabbing on you is more frustrating.
Yeah, well, if someone's backing into you, the grab is kind of stupid. But like when they run away, it's an inconvenience and automatic foul. But if you hand check someone, you can actually start playing around. You can feint it. You can mess around. You can like you can put a lot of force one time. I've played against weird people that put like their hands like this and just try to make it uncomfortable. Like there's tricks and stuff. You can do all kind of stuff to make it just a bad experience.
It's so crazy. Like when a player gets the ball and their back is towards the defending player and they're just on them grabbing. I'm like, why? You can't get around him. If you like just hand check.
Also,
you have control.
When they grab, why do they do this instead of doing the classic like this one, like that grab? You know, like when they press on you, like they grab the bottom and they go like this, so it's like your shoulder to shoulder like this. But I'm like, you don't even need to just hand check them, because even if you do this, the minute I separate, now my shirt goes crazy and it's obvious you grabbed and now it's a foul. Yeah. But if you just do this and like mess around and or keep me off. And at least you have distance to recover too, because you made space to be able to pivot side to side. What is it, basketball like this?
Yeah, exactly. You have space too.
Yeah,
but
I don't want an offensive player right on me, because he's gonna use his hips to feel the weight, and he's gonna shift off the weight that I'm on the most. Like if I'm leaning on his right, he's just gonna turn to the left and go the other way because he knows I have to recover.
And also, that's how you fall victim to a 1-2. If the guy's on you,
absolutely,
and you're like on him grabbing, if he get like he can easily get off you on the 1-2. But
literally,
if you have
they're in that no one talks about. Nobody talks about
whatever.
The easiest way to learn how to be successful defensively against the 1-2 is just to watch 2 pick and roll possessions in basketball. Just 2. You don't need to watch. Don't watch it in college. Watch a high school one, because they've been coached for behind basketball. They just be like, all right, just you're gonna crank it anyways. High school, they might have a little more discipline, or college maybe. You know, college is slavery. So it's just, watch that one. The biggest thing is that if I create space, if Bam is on me and he's a 9, he's about to do 1-2, he receives the ball, I pick space here, and he gives it to 1-2. I can just easily take 2 steps to the right. I'm already there. I can take 1 step slide. I could put a leg up. I could even do the foul over there if I wanted. I have so many options, whether dumb or not, to do. But when you do the grab, you've already either going to be a highlight reel or you're going to get a yellow card foul. Exactly. It's just not worth it, like at all.
Because if he tries to go and you're still grabbing, then it's a foul.
Yeah, and if he makes space and he turns around, that ball getting swiped easily. It's like, you should have just gave it up, idiot. It's like now you're this close to me. I can like literally just stomp the ball right now.
Yeah, like I don't understand. Like, how come nobody ever told them about a hand check?
They don't get taught how to play defense. You know,
they don't.
They just run around.
They play like children defensively. I'm like, it blows my mind. I'm like, like there was one play when I was watching the Marseille match, like I think it was like Garrison, he's like running up on the dude, and it's normal to like somebody has the ball and you're like running up to like close him down, but then it's just like you're like attacking him, and I'm like, you don't need to do that. Like,
you know what's low-key racist? That they always act like in South America, like Brazil and Argentina, they don't teach defense because they did that thing where they talk about how in the 1940s they use that same 1940s joke where it's like, oh well, if you're not a good striker, then you become a defender. Like that's the classic thing they say, like the old adage. Okay, yeah. only the last of that the last Titan of that is Casemiro. After that, has been changed.
Okay,
and then of course Ederson neck tattoo was a striker for sure. And man, he'd score in MLS right now. No, but like there's actually extremely good defenders that are from Latin America, like from South America. Like there's really good defending, and I'm like, I'm watching more lazy defense in European players who are they're just like running around following people. Like, yeah, granted, like so I'm like, it's not even one is like doing it correct. The other both don't teach defense at all.
exactly.
But don't be acting like you guys are something special because in England you just tackle people or you hurt people. That doesn't make you a good defender. Like
No.
I've watched defenders that are, like one of my favorite underrated defenders is Diego Carlos from Sevilla. Like that's a great defender that no one really talks about because he plays for Sevilla. But I'm like, that guy's from Brazil. Like, he didn't even play in England. He didn't have to European coaching. Like he just played in another country. So it's not even about like, oh, regionally they do this better. No, it's just that both sides don't teach it like at all. And like I think some guys just more athletic than others can recover better.
Basically, like
Militao has been taught fundamentals, but he's crazy athletic. So it's a great combination defensively.
What the way I'll judge a defender is like 1v1s, like if you win the 1v1 battle.
1v1 for sure.
And if you can clear balls into the box, like basically that. Like
me it's because I honestly barely expect defenders to win one-on-ones.
Me too.
Me, it's intercepting or like intercepting passes or shots.
Barely happens. Well, okay, blocking shots happens a lot.
Because that was like the Juve staple.
Yeah.
And like being able to be like comfortable on the feet to pass the ball back out to reset. Like some defenders look real goofy back there. Like the big tree guy from Roma. What was his name? I forgot. The big Fabio. Fabio.
Yeah.
Huh?
The Int from
I'm no tree. Yeah. I like that. I like the interception ability and like blocking and the good ability to pass out to reset again. Because I'm like, it's very rare you're gonna have just a shut down defender. It doesn't really happen too much. No. So, but if you have someone that can give a good outlet, that changes the whole game. Like a defender that can outlet pass, it's another attack. It's another midfielder for you.
Honestly, the best defender I've seen is Kondogbia. Like honestly,
Kondogbia is really good, really good defending.
Like I think I don't know if I said this on the podcast before, but like in the punditry class, like they never talk about a player's defensive abilities unless they are listed as a defender. But like Kondogbia as a midfielder, I feel like is probably the best defensive player that I've seen. Honestly,
yeah. Kondogbia, I think Conte's really good too defensively.
Conte's really good
because he's a workhorse.
Like that's what he's guys are on too.
And that's his specialty. So that's what he's absolutely about, and he's good at it. Like him too. There's a few guys, but yeah, for sure, Kondogbia is one of the most consistently good defenders I've ever seen.
Generally, honestly, I feel like a midfielder is going to be a better defender than a center back.
I mean, whenever they put some of those big CDMs at center back, they do pretty fine. Remember Fernandinho? They put him at center back. He was chilling, dog.
Kondogbia too. They did it. I thought he put Kondogbia back there.
What was the Chilean dude they put back there?
Gary Medel.
They put Gary Medel, 5'8" back there, just running around.
AKA Antoine Griezmann. But anyways, tell me about the Eintracht Frankfurt versus Barcelona match, because I did not watch it.
First half was honestly really kind of like not really high action packed. I think Eintracht Frankfurt has a lot of guys that just take too many dribbles. Like I feel like they were gonna lose, not because I'm like we were saying that Barcelona is stellar. They have a really good team, especially for Europa League. Like that team is probably spent more than anybody in there. But allegedly they're broke, confused. They have a way deeper team. Their team is mad deep. They got like Dembele and De Jong coming off the bench. That's insane. And Adama Traore. But so this team is deeper, and they play a Spanish style, which is gonna destroy a lot of teams on a good day. Like that passing, you can be here, you can play in Antarctica, you can play anywhere. If you're able to establish 3 clean passes to each other over and over through the midfield, and you're able to retain possession, you're gonna do damage.
Yeah.
And it just left Eintracht Frankfurt to do a lot of like counterattacking, but they don't have like a shutdown guy. Like they don't have a guy where if they get the ball, you go, God damn it. Like even Adama Traore, like if he gets the ball, you're like, damn, this guy's gonna go all the way down the field. They don't have that guy, but they have a lot of guys that think they do. So there's a lot of opportunities where their goal was from a fullback, just doing a crazy volley kick that just was a prayer. It was alhamdulillah, like it was Ramadan Mubarak. That's what it was. That shot. It was not gonna like. That's not happening every week. That's a once a year. So that was the one. And then of course the Barcelona goal, which was by Fernan Torres, was just the most Spanish goal ever and the most number 1 rule break of all time in defending. Never ever allow passes in the box. You cannot allow defenders. You cannot allow the offense to pass around you in the box. Keep that mess outside the box. He got 3 passes in the box before they got to the goal. You can't stop that. Like
I'm gonna watch it right now.
You can't, you literally can't. They did like 2 give and goes to each other. It was a nice move by Dembele, got the ball first, pass it to De Jong. De Jong give it to Ferran Torres, pass it back forth. Like you're not gonna stop that, dog. So it's just the goalie's going to be shifting too much. The defender's jumping back and forth because no one knows how to hedge for real. So there's no hedging, no defending. That was atrocious defense. Like,
but that's like so normal that
but it's very regular, right? Like that's just but that's the number 1 rule. Like you just cannot allow passing in the box. That's such bad defense. Like
I just don't understand.
It's not like a great goal. It's just bad defense. So it's like, yeah, dog, of course you better make that. Like you have to make
sadly, it's just normal defense in soccer, but it's like the dude, like when Frankie de Jong got the initial pass from Dembele, it's like the dude's like trying to go for the ball, like his whole body's in front of you. You can't get that, and then he just slides off of him and goes. It's like, all right, I guess you just
for the life of me, I don't understand why you don't sit on those.
Just sit.
What are your better chances of going back and forth like an idiot? Like, how's that better?
Just sit. If his back
is sit on one side, then the goalie's gonna probably pick the other side for the other guy.
Well, if you sit
until someone can recover.
If you sit on Frankie de Jong, his back is to the goal. He can't be
honestly. I'd be more down if he just committed to somebody. Like if you just straight committed to de Jong right there, just commit. At least there's no second give and go option. Like you allowed them to do this by jumping around when you could have just sat and tried to get a deflection. Just sat and tried to block it, get in the way, do something, put a hand out. You never know, dog. It's just bad. It's just bad.
Terrible.
It was not a very good game. It was kind of rough. Frankfurt kept getting the ball and taking that extra dribble, the extra action. They're like pouting about getting mad about it. I'm like, yeah, you're doing it to yourselves, but yeah, they just kept taking too many dribbles, and then at the end of the day, it didn't work out. But they did have, honestly, they had some opportunities where they could have made it a game where they won. But then they got the red card by Tuta getting 3 Charlie horses. He's like, if you have a shoe, I'm gonna definitely cleat it. That's his objective. He got one. He got the yellow card. Then he got another one. I'm like, wow, he didn't get a red card. That's crazy. Then he did it getting a red card. Oh, there's a red card. I'm like, all right, you literally just don't listen. And he walks off angry. I'm like, dog, you just didn't listen. He just kept stepping on people, man. You can't do that, especially Barcelona players. But although he didn't score, Auba was so good, just fluid. He's like water out there, just total fluidity, going where the ball is, pressing kind of like Benzema does, just over there being a nuisance. And then Dembele coming in also made a big difference for them too. He made a huge difference coming in the game. He was taking right-footed corners on the right side. Then he was making stuff happen on he was taking right-footed corners on the, I guess, goalie side, right side. Then on goalie side, left side of the field, he was doing left-footed passes and shots. He's just in form right now. And he looks absolutely great. He's just running around pretty easy too. He's honestly not even losing the ball that much. He's making a lot of really good passes and reads. It's they actually have kind of learned how to play with each other. And so it's not just oh, hey, Dembele's back. after 2 months, just sprint and then lose the ball. Like he's actually like taking his time and setting up, and it's giving him opportunities. But like I said, it ended up being 1-1, and I honestly expected Barcelona to win that game, but they just didn't have that second gear. I don't know if they were tired or something. They just didn't have that gear. And Fernando Torres, who was something about him. I when I watch him play, I don't want to be mean, but he's peaked. Like this is the absolute peak. Like he's not going to get better than this right now. He's on Verratti. Like this is as good as it gets.
I think you called him dumb.
God damn, I think he's dumb, dog.
Yeah, I think you called him
when
dumb.
I watch him play sometimes, I'm like, why did you do that? Like, you know, instead of like why do you do that because like you're a narcissistic winger, that's different. Like, you know, maybe you want to just get buck wild. It's not that. It's just like that was kind of stupid. Like, all right, I feel like you're better than that. He does a lot of those plays. You're like,
he's one of those, he's one of those guys. He's really like a pace and power guy. They won't say that because he's Spanish.
I'm mean because I'm like, he gives me every reason to sub him out when I watch him play. Like as a coach, like he's a guy that I'm like, I cannot watch this for much longer. Like when Adama, it's annoying, but I'm like, well, he can't do anything. Like that foot is just made of paper. Like he went all the way down the right. He did some shit. He got people all hyped up, and then he'll try to get it in there. Well, friend, I'm like, well, it's just why did you crank it with your left foot there? That's just so weird. You don't make those. So yeah, he's definitely a north-south pace and power guy when he tries not to be. That's probably why Pep played him on the right instead of the left. On the left, he has this like feeling where he has to be like on his hazard, like I got to get in there, mix it up. And he's not really that dude. He's gonna beat you on pace and power, and he kind of beats you off that, but he just ends up power shotting at the end, and it just goes nuts, you know.
So he'd be shooting the ball real hard, like somebody I know. But yeah, I mean, Barcelona, obviously they've looked a lot better since Aubameyang's gotten there, and I think it's all up to him. And I was gonna say about Dembele, you know, when he was there before, like the seasons past, he was always injured, but when he would be out there, he would play well, but he never played well with Messi.
Yeah, I agree. We called that from the day, like that. Yeah. We said we actually called that bad scouting. Yeah. That was bad scouting. Like that's not the guy to get. That wasn't the guy for you at all.
Not with Messi. And every time he played, like with him and Messi could not coexist on the field together. But now Messi's not there, and they can have more of an actual formation, and it's working.
Yeah, you have space. You have Ferran on one side, Dembele in the other, Abuba in the middle. That's crazy, man. Isn't it crazy, man, how a 4-3-3 works? You have three capable guys up top. Even Adama Traore looks godly out there because he just has space to run around on his side of the field. There's not a man walking there. There's not a man who's kind of there who wants to pass. There's no disruptance. They all kind of have freedoms to move the ball around.
There's not a forward who's dropping all the way back to the CDM to receive,
causing the whole offense to reset completely.
Yeah, exactly. Like you can't play that way. It doesn't work. And
I mean, think about if anybody like actually plays or plays pickup, think about how impactful it is when someone is not in their spot or when someone is in your usual spot. It really creates like a cluster in the game where you're trying to adapt. But when people are in their positions or in their proper places, or just if they're tired, they're at least given some semblance of hustle to get back to their spot. It creates space for everybody, right? Because that's how the game works.
The sport is about space more than anything.
Absolutely. The game is all about space because with space, you can do so much damage.
Yeah, well, that's the only way you're gonna do, unless it's in the box, like you can have some hazard.
Unless you're like 2017 Neymar, then it's like I guess you just do what you want with a headband on. But yeah,
but
those days are over though.
Yeah, but
that was space too because Suarez just stayed in the middle. Yeah. Messi stayed on the right. Like they all had space in the end.
Yeah, exactly. Like you can't have a player. I mean, that was the issue with Zlatan and PSG. Like you're dropping all the way back and you're messing up the formation. Like you got to have a formation in soccer. Like there has to be some structure, and Messi just ruins that, and it hasn't worked for him since 2017. Okay, I just want to talk a little bit about
Bernabeu, by the way.
I'm sorry?
Last time he scored in the Bernabeu was 2017.
Oh, damn, that's crazy. Okay, I want to just talk a little bit about the Marseille match versus PAOK from Greece. Marseille 1-2-0. Beautiful goal by Gerson. Dimitri Payet like shot some pass into Gerson, and Gerson like he controlled it by the grace of God, but it still bounced up.
Mm.
And like he just like got it off his, like it bounced up off his foot. He hit it with his chest and shot it with his left foot, and it got in that goal. It was like it's not the type of goals that I like, but I like it for him.
Yeah, that man's Brazilian.
Honestly, I love him a lot.
Me too. I'm happy he's actually getting like call up stuff like that too. He looks really good. Like he
deserves it.
To have.
I mean, yeah, he's one of the few left footers.
That's good scouting. Like even that's so random to be watching Gerson out there balling. That's cool.
What he was at Flamingo, right?
He was, he was a Flamingo player. I didn't think he was gonna be nothing crazy. And I was like, damn, he's actually doing his thing.
Well, that's where St. Pauli was, right? He was at Flamingo, right?
St. Pauli?
Didn't he coach Flamingo?
No. I think it was Santos.
Was it Santos or?
I think it was Santos.
Oh, okay. So maybe he just like played against him and was like, that guy's good.
Oh yeah, I mean he's definitely seen them. They play each other a whole lot.
Yeah.
I feel like it was Santos or Botafogo or something like that.
Okay, Santos and Mineiro.
Atletico Mineiro, which is now the biggest club in Brazil. But yeah.
And also they have the Uruguayan legend Diego Godin. Don't sleep.
And they also have Hulk, who just damn near won the Pichichi twice now. I think it's going crazy.
And you know why?
Because he lost weight.
Because Godin's there.
Because of his niece. Because of his niece girlfriend.
Godin.
Niece girlfriend.
But yeah, and then after that, Dimitri Payet in the 45th minute, they won a corner. Under sends it to the top of the box on the corner to Payet, one bounce, and Dimitri Payet just like booms some half volley into the top corner of the net. They're gonna say, "Oh, this is a goal of the year," or like whatever. I don't really like. For me, I don't really love those goals. I feel like they're more lucky than anything. But like, I mean, it was a beautiful. It was a cool goal to watch, but I don't really love those. But the Greek team ended up scoring a goal later on, and Gerson ended up getting a red card at the very end of the match, so he won't be there in the next match.
Awesome. Kamara time. Kamara time.
Boubacar, I'm not a big fan of him.
Boubacar Kamara.
I'm not a huge fan.
You're not a huge fan because everybody's crazy about him.
Like I'm watching Marseille like so much, and I'm like, he never really stands out.
Yeah, me too. When I watched like 3 Marseille games this year, and I'm like, I never was like, hey man, that Kamada guy is crazy. I usually go away going, wow, Guendouzi's a real baller. Or like, oh man, Gerson's so good. Or even the other guy they got. Who's that little dude?
Rongier is a baller.
Yeah, Rongier's a baller. I got right. I like Rongier. Yeah.
I remember saying Real Madrid should get him. I was saying that like 2 years ago.
Rongier's really good.
I'm like, this dude's ridiculous. Now like Guendouzi's there. Like Guendouzi plays every single match, every single minute.
Yeah, every single position too. He'd be all over the goddamn place.
Like Rongier's like coming off the bench, but
Rongier's good though.
No, he's a baller. I love watching him play. More before when he was like kind of more free, but yeah, the match ended 2-1, and we're only talking about it because I've been watching the hell out of Marseille.
Bam is given the only Conference League coverage in the nation right now.
Yes. Oh, and the other Europa League results: RB Leipzig and Atalanta tied 1-1. West Ham and Lyon tied 1-1. I really like that matchup too. West Ham and Lyon. I kind of like that. Although it's like ugly, but this is like a mid-table, EPL team versus like a. I mean, obviously, Lyon is mid-table right now which is
just insane. It just doesn't make that team. How did they get mid-table? It's just so weird. But yeah,
they're not like Liverpool. They lose to lesser competition. That's why.
Yeah, they're like the good teams are like, let's have a war and win. The bad teams are like, I don't really want to play this.
Literally.
Teams kind of ratchet on low.
Yeah, and Braga beat Rangers, which I'm always down for Rangers to lose.
Yeah, Rangers take L's all day, please.
Yes, absolutely.
Also, Braga's a cool word.
It is. That's North Portugal there.
Very.
Yeah, that's the European coverage. And also, Caesar, just wanted to mention before we close out, your boy, the number 1 Kun Aguero, is getting a statue at the Etihad at Man City.
That's amazing. Good for him. Definitely the first anybody across the ocean that got a statue in England ever. Shout out to Kun Aguero, phenomenal striker. Yeah, that Kun Aguero is just so good, and it's a pleasure to watch Kun Aguero play.
Yeah. Apparently Vincent Company and David Silva have statues already, and he's getting his is to like celebrate
Yeah,
the
but those are
10th.
Europeans. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but this one is to celebrate the 10th anniversary of him scoring that goal to win the league that year.
That was an absolutely insane because it was so great that it happened at the same time as the Man U game. That's just phenomenal.
Yeah, they won on goal differential.
Yep.
Uh,
Balotelli was there. Don't forget.
the legend, treble winner.
At 17 or something, whatever he was. He was like a baby.
Zlatan could never.
And treble winner also.
Hold
Obafemi
on,
Martins.
hold on.
Obafemi Martins also. Obafemi Martins. Obafemi Martins.
Was that song racist? No, I'm just joking. But yeah, that's cool. Kun Aguero got that heart condition. I guess he couldn't come back like Alfonso Davies.
He want to come back, he said, after he gets cleared. He wants to play in Argentina, though.
I seen a picture of him since then. I was like, damn dog, he ain't even hitting the
Well, you know, I mean, the worst part is he's a Twitch streamer. I was like, this man only does play video games and eat all day. I don't know, dog.
Yeah,
I don't know, Big Coon. You might want to chill, dog.
It's gonna take a while for him to get back in shape.
Yeah, he's gonna be like Adriano, like dog. It's just not there no more.
Yeah. Oh, also, Roma lost to what's the name of this team? Bodo Glimt, some team from one of them Scandinavian countries.
It's okay. Mourinho's a legendary coach.
Yeah. But yeah, that's episode 248. I'm definitely gonna clip the hand check versus grab check part.
That's phenomenal.
Literally nobody like these people. We're the best, really. Like we're literally the best. I like. I don't even understand because you know what's funny? Like when we play pickup ball, like when we play pickup soccer, I do that.
I know you do.
Yeah, like I hand check.
It's really annoying.
You know what I mean? Like, but first of all, Caesar, actually, I don't play you defensively very hard. I don't
like when you play defense against me. I hate that. I hate that she does that. It bothers me a lot.
And I also don't play you hard. I don't do it.
That you just play smart and they're all dumb.
Like I just kind
like
of
those passes. I'm like, I'm not open.
Well,
he's
also,
tricking you. I am not open.
Also, I don't want to be like, because what I would like to do is just like be annoying and all over you the whole match. But I'm like, I don't want to be like that. Like I want my boy to ball out. So
yeah,
like,
and also then they're not gonna recognize what to do in that.
Yeah, no, and I don't want to frustrate you because you can get mad.
I am
talking about Oba, but yeah, episode 248. We made a podcast, the best, honestly. If you're still listening, just know that this isn't a soccer podcast about kits or we're not talking about
I do like kids though.
Yeah, but we're not talking about cleats and we're not talking about
I love cleats.
We're not talking about our podcast is about analysis.
True. And before the lawnmower do come get crazy here, poor guys, hot as hell today. Out there 100 degrees. Last weekend, CostaMesaPlayhouse.com code streetcar 22. Last weekend, your boy's gonna shut it down. I'm gonna shut it down this weekend. All right. I'm very tired of doing this play. I'm very tired. I'm shutting it down. I'm very tired of this play. I cannot explain to you how tired I am.
So he's gonna shut it down with all of his 8 lines.
Yeah, my 8 lines are gonna rock the building.
Hey, come on, man. Yeah, holler. Yeah, analysis, the realist.
We also had an injury last time. Someone got elbowed in the nose. It was hilarious on stage. We had to
what are you talking
improvise.
About?
On the play, someone got elbowed in the nose and he's like bleeding. So we had 2 injured people, even though one guy's supposed to be injured. It was very awkward and very funny to improv that joint. I had a blast doing that.
That's
I was like, oh, we should take him to the bathroom. Both the guys were like,
I thought you were talking about a soccer. Damn.
No, soccer. They actually mowed the lawn. It was great. It was so nice.
That's nice. Anyway, holler.